Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Boardmasters with me, Chris Mullins, and we are back tonight with Too Many Bones and the fourth and final Gearloc from the core game. So last but not least, we are playing as Tantrum. And as his name suggests, he is a very angry little Gearloc and has a brand new mechanic revolving around his rage, which is what makes him so different from the other ones we've seen so far. So I'll just have a quick look at what we start with in terms of his skills. So we have his body count die, and basically that tracks how many enemies you kill as Tantrum, and then whatever the number is on there, you can use that at any point during your turn to heal that amount of HP. We have his axe collector die, where, as it sounds, you collect throwing axes throughout the course of the game, which you can then use to deal damage from range. And then we have his rage dice, and this one ticks over, goes starting from 1 to 1.2, 1.4, etc, etc, each time that Tantrum loses an HP, and each time that you roll attack die, with the aim being when you get to 0.8 on the rage die, you get to either execute a 1-point baddie, or you can move up to the rage dice if you have that available. And then consequently you would do the same thing, getting up to 2.8 on the more powerful die, and then you can execute a 5-point baddie or upgrade to the rage die, where you're going to be able to execute a 20-point baddie if you get to 0.8 on there. It's not something I'll look to do in this playthrough because it's very, very, very unlikely that I will ever be encountering a 20-point baddie. So that's Tantrum. Once again, I am playing on adventurer mode, so I start with 2 extra health and 1 training point, which I've used on defense. I didn't have to roll because I didn't have any defense to begin with. I think in previous videos, like, I've trained the attack and I've not rolled, and I think that was a misinterpretation on my part, that although it says a free training point, I felt that was a free training point that meant you didn't have to roll it, but I found that is since incorrect. But with defense, I had 0 dice, so there was nothing to roll anyway, so that was an automatic success. So that's enough about Tantrum, really. In terms of the Tyrant, tonight we are going up against Mulmesh, so let's introduce him. Once human, now Worgen, Mulmesh has an insatiable hunger for that which he once was. Knowing there is no going back, he lets that hunger fuel his fury toward any non-ebon Delorian who stands in his way of exacting vengeance. It's very hard to say Delorian without sounding like you're saying DeLorean and making it feel like he's very angry about the Back to the Future movies. But with that being said, let's dive straight in. Now, obviously we have, as I said last week, we're just going to shoot through the first 3 encounters because we have covered them enough, and I'll also shoot through any other scenarios if we come across ones that have been covered a couple of times already. So day 1, we are leaving Abendar, so we have a choice of 2 training points or a training point and some loot. I'm going to go with training points. So I'm going to upgrade my dexterity, and then I'm going to get like a kobold, which is down number 7, and basically that will give me potentially the hardy trait for a couple of turns, which will allow me to reduce any damage I suffer by, well, reduce it all to 1. Which is extremely frustrating when I'm playing against something with hardy, but hopefully it'll be just as useful for me. Now we're on to day 2, and it's hardly out the gate, where we are instantly shot through the foot with an arrow, and we have the choice of fighting these 2-point baddies with either the guards helping us or going it alone. Now, up to now, the only time we have relied on the guards was with Boomer, who has a very low HP stat to begin with. So I think I'm going to try and do it without them this time, as I did with Patches and with Picket. So the first enemy we've got is a direwolf pup, who is becoming a bit of a regular in terms of the gameplay. And yes, talking about Hardy earlier, we have a kobold tracker. So any damage I deal to him is reduced to 1 each turn, and he also has compound, which means his attack die number goes up each round, which is not fun. So I need to try and get him out as soon as I can. My initiative is 4, whereas the direwolf pup is 3 and the kobold is 6, so I'm going to go in the middle. So I'm going to sit myself there, and let's dive in. So first up is the kobold tracker. In round 1 it has 1 die. It does 1 damage to me, and because I lose an HP, my rage tracker goes up to 1.2. I'll use a dexterity to move. I will then roll 1 attack die, a defense die, and my like a kobold. So I get 1 defense, 2 attack, which I'm doing on the kobold tracker, so it's reduced to 1. And by doing that, my rage now goes up to 1.4. And my kobold die, is 1, which isn't really, I probably shouldn't have rolled that, to be honest. Okay, now we're on to the direwolf pup, which does nothing. And we're now on to round 2. And that is now gone. Because I believe it is per round, not per turn. Yeah, for however number of rounds. Which is not as useful as I hoped it was going to be. Right, so now the kobold tracker, as it's round 2, has 2 attack dice. So it does 3 damage, although minus the defense, so 2. And then, because of my rage, I lost 2 HP, so it goes up twice. So we are now on the magical 1.8 marker. It is my turn, so I'm going to exhaust that to execute the direwolf pup, because he's at full health. I will then roll my 3 attack die and defense die to kill off the kobold tracker. And that is that battle complete. So we had a good indication of how rage works there. And as I won without the help of the guards, I get 2 training points and a loot. I think I'm going to get I'm going to get cripple, which is die number 10. And I'm going to get strengthen. Now basically with these, cripple means I can reduce an enemy's number of attack die by 1 for the fight, and strengthen means I will get an extra 1. Let's bring Tantrum back and heal back up. And I also got a loot, which is infused incense. Roll 2 additional attack dice on your turn. Single use. Okay, yeah, fine. So now on to day 3, and we are once again crossing the Sivron. So we have to, I'm going to tuck my ears and try and sneak through. We got 4, so we are successful. And I get an extra training point, which I am going to put in my HP. And that's on to day 4. Okay. Just out of reach. I love rocky landscapes. Trouble is easy to spot, and it's a breeze to cover larger distances. Sparkling streams of fresh water are commonplace in the mountains of Gearloc, one of the land's few mercies on ill-prepared travellers. Up ahead, the narrow corridor I'm following suddenly opens into a sun-bathed canyon with a peaceful creek flowing just beyond. Such a place would offer some much-needed resources, but odds of an ambush are high. If I waltz out into the open, I might be picked off before I can taste that cool mountain water. I might be able to scale this wall and find a higher pathway around, but that will take time I'm not sure I have. Okay, so braving the open air would be baddie points, add 2 baddie points to battle queue, which would take it up to 6, so it'd be 1 5 point and a 1 point. And any range start at the top of the initiative meter. Or I can ready the ropes and climb. And basically it'll still be a 6.1, but I have surprise, so baddies cannot move during the first round. Now surprise basically means I start at the top of the initiative meter. I do have an extra day point, progress point, for blending in like a commoner, so I have got 1 extra to spare. I only need 6 to get to Mulmesh in 9 days. So I think I am going to ready the ropes and climb. Right, so add 2 baddie points, so it's going to make it a 6-point baddie queue. So the 5.1 is a Griffin Howler, which has dive and flight, and also has signal of 1, which means it's going to call in another 1-point baddie, if able to. And the 1 point is a Dragon Whelp, which has weaken, which if I remember rightly means I cannot use one of my attack die. Oh, my dexterity is reduced by 1, that's it. Okay, and that's arranged. We have surprise, so I'm automatically going to start at the top. And then the Griffin has got 5, as has the Whelp. So I'm going to go here. I forgot my body count die, so I have killed 2 in the previous round. Now I'm going to roll all 3 attack and a defense. Do I want to use my infused incense and see if I can take out this Griffin Howler straight away? No, I think I'll save that. Right, so let's roll. 1, 2, 4. That's frustrating. And then because I attacked, my rage is now 1.2. And I have a defense of 2. Okay, so now we're on to the Griffin. Let's get a flight die ready, because he's going to retreat to the sky. So 3 attack die. He does 4. So it's going to clear my defense, and then 2 damage, which is going to increase my rage by 2 pips. And now it's flown up into the sky, so I can't do anything about it. And then the Whelp has got 2 attack die and a defense die. Does 2 damage to me, which puts my rage die into 2, which isn't good because that means it's going to reset in a minute. At the end of my turn, basically, if I allow it to. Okay, so I think I'm going to use my body count to heal 2 damage. I've got a weakened die on me, so I've only got 3 dexterity. So I'll roll my like a kobold, my defense, and my strength and Okay, so my strengthened die gives me +1 attack die. Kobold and defense. Okay. So now the griffin is going to dive down at me. Oh, hang on. I forgot my 1-point baddie. So we have a clay golem with break. 5. He goes there. And goes to the bottom of the initiative. So let's roll the 3 griffin die. And my rage did reset to 1 because I wasn't able to mitigate that. So the griffin does 2 damage, -1 shield, 1 damage. But again, like kobold didn't help on that. Then the dragon whelp. 2 -1, it's going to do 1. Golem is then going to move and do 1. So 1 damage. And that's the kobold done. Right. It's not looking hopeful. And that went up to 0.6 because I got attacked the 3rd time. So my dexterity is still lower to 3. Right, let's do a defense. An attack. Let's do 2 attack. Defense and 2 attack. And I'm going to go against the griffin, which is killed. And then I rolled the attack die, so my rage is up to 1.8, which I will then use to execute the whelp. So I'm no longer weakened. Now my body count is up to 2 again, which I will again use to heal another 2 HP. Should probably just put that in the active rather than up there. And I haven't exhausted those die yet. Right, they're both out. Now it's the clay golem. So he does 1 damage to me. And we're in round 4. I'm going to use 3 attack die. No, I'm going to use 2 attack die, my cripple, and a defense die. 2 defense, my cripple didn't work. 2 attack. So I have now broken those 2 die. And then his attack on me is going to do 1. And we are now in round 5. And again, I'm going to do cripple and my 2 attack die. So now I've got cripple, so he cannot attack me at all, and I do 2 damage to him. They are now exhausted. He can't attack. We are now in the fatigue round, which knocks 1 health off each of us, killing him and leaving me alive. And then put that attack by, get everything back. I didn't think I was going to get through that. 7, so fully healed. Okay, so for winning that, I got 1 training point, or 2 training points and a loot. So my loot is a prying iron. Add 2 to an action die result during your lockpick attempt. I think I'm going to get my second rage die, because I'm going to be encountering 5-point baddies from now. And I'll see if I can train my defense. Nope. I can re-roll it once on defense and failed again. So I might go with dexterity then. So I can now roll 5. Okay, day 5. The scent of a Gearloc. This is a tyrant encounter, which rarely means anything good. So you don't have to be a ranger to sense when you're being followed. When your stomach instinctively clenches and the hair on your ears is at attention, there are probably eyes on you. What can be done? Well, nothing in this case. Too much time would be wasted trying to reveal this pursuer, and yet after a few hours paranoia starts to set in. It feels like there are more eyes watching with each passing moment. Shadowy figures slip in and out of the trees, always hidden, but there in the corner of the eye, what are they waiting for? Another stomach knot. This is becoming all too regular a feeling. Search your active stacks for the first beast type baddie and place it on the tyrant card that will be added to the tyrant battle. Right, so I need a 1-point beast. Which is presumably going to be the direwolf. Yep, there we go. Draw another encounter for today and reshuffle this card into your encounter deck. Damn it, I caught the colour of it. I know what's coming next day now, and I really wish I could. Oh, I'm so tempted to shuffle that. Not so ordinary water. So this is one that we've had before a couple of times. So the battle queue for this one is adding a 5-point baddie to the battle queue, which would take me up to 10. So it'd be 2 5-point baddies, but I would have a 5-point buff. Or I get to keep that as a loot and get a training point. I think I'm going to do that. So I'll put that as a loot and I get a training point. Let's try my defense again. Yep, so I'm now up to 2 defense. And we are on to day 6. Oh no, I didn't get that one, did I? Let's cover that one because that's going to confuse me. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need another one before I can face Mulmesh, and again we've got the scent of a Gearloc, so I've got to look for my next beast person. Next one is the Griffin Yearling. So that boss battle is looking even more intimidating now. And we are at Risky Payoff, which again is one that we've had a few times. So we've got a choice of standing our ground and fighting against the battle queue of 6, which is tempting, or I can offer up loot to try and bribe it. I'm going to go for the fight again. So I'm going to have a 5 point and a 1 point. 5 point is a dire wolf with lashback of 2, 2, 4, 6, and 6 health, and an initiative of 4. And the 1 point is a bog pole, which is arranged and is just going to sit there and regularly poison me, which is nice. My initiative is 4, so I'm going to go first, which is a positive. I think I'm going to go straight for the wolf. I'm going to use my like a kobold and 3 attack die and a cripple die. Okay, so I do 4 damage and that increases my rage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does 2 lashback to me, which increases my rage again by 2. Didn't get anything on the cripple, and my kobold is going to be 1, which I think I will put on there just because I want to be able to survive this dire wolf. Right, so 4 attack. 2, which is then reduced to 1. That goes up to 1.8. And then the bog pole is just going to put a poison die on me. Get rid of that flight one. And now we're in round 2 and the kobold die is exhausted. It's my turn. So that is going to do the poison. Which is going to take my die up to 2. And now I have 5. I'm going to try and kill this wolf off. I think I'm just going to go for 3 attack and 2 defense. I was hoping for a bones, didn't get it, but there's 3 attack, which kills the wolf, so the lashback does not impact me. 2 defense, which now is not going to benefit me. Body count goes up by 1, and my rage resets to 1 as well. And the bog pole just puts another poison on me, which then comes off. Poison 1.2. I use 2 points to move there. I now have 3 dexterity, so I will use that all on my attack. And do 4 points of damage, which will kill the bog pole. And heal back up to 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I never got to the end of round 3, so I never had to introduce another baddie, which was a bonus, because I did forget that. But yeah, at the ends of round 3, we never got to the ends of round 3, so I got 2 training points and a loot. My loot is some Oggot herbs. Heal yourself for 1 HP in battle for 3 uses. And my body count die went up 1 more for the bog pole, I forgot to do that. And then my 2 training points. I think I'm going to go with like a worm, because that allows me to poison an enemy. Let's try defense. Yeah, so we're up to 3 on the defense. And we're now on day 7. So I now have enough tokens to take on Mulmesh if I so choose, but I think I'll have one more day to try and strengthen. What goes around? So again, this is another one we've had previously where there is a Molnor trader being attacked. So we have our baddie queue plus a 5-point baddie. So that's going to be 2 5 points and 2 1 points. And I think I'm not going to bring the Molnor trader in because I don't think I can keep him alive, to be honest. So all baddies are going to start with 2 fewer HP. And then I've just got to hope it kills off the 1-pointers. A stone golem, fabulous. With break and corrosive. 2, 4, 6. Oh, it's only going to have 5 HP only. And then a dragon delinquent, which is one we haven't had. This is a ranged. It's got engulf, which means anything that hits me is going to hit anything adjacent to me as well. And it's got weaken of 2 if it rolls a bones. It's got HP of 5 as well. And then the 1-pointers. Kobold Tracker, which has 2 points left, so he's going to die. And a Bog Frog, which is going to start with a health of 2, but is going to poison me. So where am I going to head? I think I'm going to try and take out this Bog Frog, because I don't want to be poisoned too much. Right, so track 1, the Golem has 3. Track 2, the Delinquent has 6. Track 3, the Bog Frog has 3. And I am going to have an initiative of 4. Okay. So the Dragon Delinquent has 2 of each. Okay. Now just take a second there to apologise for the disjointed nature of this video. Unfortunately, my camera that I use for the top down one is just not working at all, so I've been trying to regularly check it, and yeah, I've given up on it now. So for the rest of the video, unfortunately, it's just going to be the face on camera, so apologies for that. And let's dive into this battle. So we start with the Dragon Delinquent. So I've got 1 shield and a weaken of 2, which is going to take my dexterity down. So I now only have 3. I'm going to use one of those to move. And I'm going to use... what am I going to use? I think I'm going to use Like a Worm. I'm going to use Cripple. And I'm going to use 1 defense die, I think. Like a Worm, it was an axe, I'm not going to take that. And I've got bones on the others, so that's no help at all. And then we are on to the Golem, which has 3 attack and a defense, and 2 defense, sorry. That's going to do 3 attack to me. 1, 2, 3. And 1 defense, and it got a bone, which would be corrosive. If I had any in my active defense slots, that I would be in trouble. And then the Bog Frog is going to poison me for 2. Where did I put my poison die? I'm using it for the weaken. So this is going all kind of badly so far. Right, round 2. Let me just double check in golf. I'm pretty certain all damage rolled also hits all units adjacent. Okay, fine. So 2 attack and 1 defense. 2 damage to me. Bones, which is then going to weaken. It does 2 damage to the frog, which kills that. Does 2 damage to the golem and it exhausts the dragon's attack die. Now, can I only heal on my turn? Yeah, use loot anytime during your turn. So I would die from the poison before I get to have my turn, which is very upsetting because I felt that that was a point where that battle was just about to turn in my favour. Unfortunately, I had maybe a bad choice of moves, of die to roll on that one, but felt like I basically had such a bad roll that I didn't have a turn. Right. Okay, day 8, so I'm going to go for Mulmesh. That was a failed encounter, so put that out of the way. Okay, so let's go for Mulmesh. I'm not expecting to beat it on this one with 2 allies in here, but we'll see. I've got one more day so I can try it again. So all baddies on this card are placed on top of battle queue. Add Mulmesh to the bottom of the baddie queue. And there we go. Right, so Direwolf Pup in lane number 1. Initiative of 3. Griffin Yearling is arranged in lane number 2 with an initiative of 5. And then in comes Mulmesh. So Mulmesh has health of 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. It's going to start, it's a melee, so it's going to start in number 3. Has 2 attack die and its special die, so I don't need any enemy defense die in this game. And its other abilities we'll see as we go through, but it has an initiative of 6. Okay, so I'm going to start here in the hope that I can then avoid Mulmesh for a little bit. So my initiative is going to be 5, so I'm going to go second. And let's just check, the Mulmesh only moves 2. Yeah, so baddies may move up to 2 adjacent available positions. Doesn't give me any indication that tyrants are any different. Okay. Feel free to comment down below if I'm wrong on that, but he's going to move to there. I am then going to move to here, and I have 3 die, so I'm going to use 2 attack and a defense to try and take out this griffin. So 3 damage, which does kill it. And ups my body counter and gives me 1 defense. And then the direwolf pup is going to move 2. So he can move there. No. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think I'll have him move there. Okay, so 1 attack die. 1 damage, take off my shield. My rage is on 1.2 because I've done an attack. Okay, round 2. Mulmesh is then going to move there. I am going to do strengthen 2 attack die and 2 defense die in an attempt to try and kill off this direwolf. So 3 damage, which is perfect because that is going to kill him without me having to deal with lashback. And that's going to up my rage and my body count. So I'm now at 5, which is the maximum. And then I've got 3 bones. Seriously? Put the 2 defense ones in there because I might want to use calm down on my next go. Alright, so round 3. Mulmesh is now going to catch up with me. So 2 attack die and it's special die. Okay, so I've got 1 attack, which is lucky because it has a skill called Frenzy 2, which basically means if both of Mulmesh's attack dice hit, then he gets to roll it again, which is very painful, and he also gets Howl. All units friendly to Mulmesh cannot improve or immediately improve 1 spot on the ini meter, so that's irrelevant. So that was actually a relatively painless turn. Okay, so I'm going to go with like a worm, cripple, strengthen, defense. I'm going to use 1 of these bones to escalate my rage to 1.8, which I will then bring in my next die, the 2nd level of rage, which then this one can actually heal me. And then I may as well use an attack die. I don't know if my like a kobold is actually going to do anything in this round now, because it says it remains for a certain number of rounds, but if I put it on now, it would be in round 3. If I get a 1, then I'll be straight into round 4, so it's the end of the round, so presumably it would go straight away. So I might try and avoid using that. Okay, let's go. Right, so I have got strength and attack die, which gives me an extra attack and the ability to roll an attack training point. Also did 1 point of damage, so my rage is going to go up. So now I think I roll all 4, I assume. I also have this poison armor, and I did cripple Mulmesh. Right, didn't get a bone, so I did pass. Did I roll that defense die? Yeah, I must have done. So I did pass the training attack, so I now have passed that training attempt. So I now have 5 attack die for the remainder of this fight. And that is round 4. Okay. Right, so he now only has 1 attack die. He gets 2, which is just going to hit my shields. and he got silver hide, so Mulmesh cannot take damage from attack dice until his next turn. But he did get poisoned. Now it's my go. But I can't hurt him with attack die. So I may as well roll defense die. Or do I just run away? Let's run away. So 1, 2, 3. And I'll roll both my defense die as well. Get 2 bones. Could be worse. And that's round 5. So he's now going to move, take 2 points of poison damage. That now goes to 1. He moves there, can't attack me. I'm now going to move. Do tyrants do their special die, even if they don't actually get to do an attack? Roll this along with its attack and defense die. At the risk of making this harder, then I'll roll this. So I've got silver hide, so I can't damage it with attacking dice again. Let's go back where I was. Alright, let's just roll these. So I've got 2 bones, so axe collector, recoup. That's the wrong sheet. What does recoup do? So recoup, heal Tantrum for 4. I don't think I need that, but I am going to use the axe collectors, which is going to give me 3 axes. And then I'm going to use 1 to do 2 damage to, retreat. If Mulmesh starts his turn at 3 HP or fewer. So I'm not going to do that because basically he's got 5 HP. If he gets to 3 or less at the start of his turn, he's going to run off. Status effects such as bleed or poison may be applied before or after checking Mulmesh's HP. Right, so next round, we are in the fatigue round. 1 damage for both of us. He is now at 4. If I do poison first, he's going to retreat. So I'm going to do poison after. So he's not going to retreat. Then poison is going to hit him. So he is now at 1 HP. No, he's not. He's now at 3 HP. He's going to move over here. He's going to roll his 1 attack die. Because I assume cripple lasts for the entirety of the game. Yeah. For the battle. That's fine. He does 2 attack to me. 1, 2. Just going to up my rage to 2.6. I think I may as well just exhaust that to get the 3 HP back. And then he rolled a howl, not a silver hide, so I can damage him. I've got 5 dice I can use. Let's go with 4 attack die and a defense die. And that's 3 damage. So that is Mulmesh defeated. I don't think I made any mistakes in that one. I hope not, anyway. We'll find out in the editing. Please comment down below if you spotted anything. This is my one negative with too many bones though, and I'm glad it came up because I forgot to mention it previously. I've now gone through an epic campaign quest through Gearloc to fight this evil tyrant and had an extremely painful fight against a giant werewolf and his allies. I actually forgot I killed 2 of his allies as well. and I win, and then there's absolutely nothing. It's just a big anticlimax. And, you know, that is a disappointment, because it's a game that is so rich in storytelling and lore and flavour text that it seems strange that they have nothing at the end. I believe that is corrected in one of the expansions. I'm not sure which one. Hopefully it's one of the ones I'll be getting at the end of the year. But that is Tantrum. So that is all 4 of our Gearlocs now who have been showcased in a solo game on the channel. I'm hoping next week it will be a 2-player game with Chris coming back to the channel for the first time in 6 months since we recorded Dinosaur Island before Christmas, thanks to the COVID restrictions lifting on Monday. And we are going to do a 2-player game. Hopefully going to do a couple of 2-player games so that we can showcase 2 different teams. I'm thinking probably Picket and Boomer, and then Tantrum and Patches. Or maybe, we'll see. Anyway, we might go with something else, but it depends what Chris wants to try. And then eventually, when the COVID restrictions lift, I'm hoping we can then get a 3-player game in, because I'm conscious there's 7 tyrants, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so I want to try and get a battle against all of them in on the channel. We have fought 3 of them. I think I beat the Goblin King as Boomer, but looking back I did forget to reduce my dexterity when I moved, so I probably would have lost that battle if I'd done it properly. And we won as Picket. With Patches we didn't get to Marrow, so I want to try Marrow again. I'm thinking, so in the next 2 tyrants I'm thinking it's going to be Drellin and Marrow, and then we'll have Gendrix and Duster if and when we can do 3-player games. But that is it for the solo Too Many Bones games, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Look after yourself, stay safe, and have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye now.